Cool. Well, I'm Marianne. I'm your new president starting in 2024. So we're going to get started. Thank you. I ran unopposed, but still an honor. Thank you. So I'm going to start. We're going to do a kind of state of APT just to kind of get an overview where we are at the beginning of the year, particularly because we have a new board and a new treasurer, which is huge. So we're just trying to get settled into all our different roles. And here she is. Yeah. So first, we want to thank our outgoing board of directors. So Judy Smith, who was president, Bob Levitt, who's back there, who was treasurer, Amy Kobetta, and Annie, I don't know how to say Annie's last name, Legoniak, something like that, are outgoings. We want to give them a nice round of applause and thank them. Right, sharing their time and talent with us. So we have our new board. So I'm the president. We have Mike Tatey back there. If you want to stand up for a second, Mike, or at least raise your hand there. He's our new vice president. And we have Antoinette over here. She's our new treasurer. And Pam over here, who's in the middle of eating, who's our secretary. And then we have Jen here, who's on our board of directors. And Vince back there, who is getting you to sign in. And Jim Murphy, who is there next to Vince. Yeah, so yay, we're all here today. So someone remember if we could take a board picture at the end so we get all of us with Jim in a picture at the end. I know none of us look good today, but it's all right. Cool. Otherwise, we have to use this picture where we have Jim off to the side because he wasn't at our holiday party, so. So this is our financial balance. You can see in 2002, see if I can get this to work. No, maybe not. Oop, I'm facing it the wrong way. So this was our balance. And when we started 2022, when we started 2023, and when we're starting this year with about 11,200. So pretty close every year we were starting with about the same balance. And then the income and expenses for 22 and 23 were almost equal coming in and going out. Right, so we kind of started with 11,000, had like 9,000 some going in and out, and now we're back starting with 11,000 again. So really kind of rough. I just got the reports from Bob and pulled some numbers, but just to give you an idea of that we're not going bankrupt. We're doing pretty good. This is our membership income. So this $2,000, this is the money we collected in 2022 for 2022 memberships. So we start in the year before, October to December, but this is just the money we collected in 2022. So we had $2,000 in the year. And then for 2023, for October through December, we collected that much. And that was our total that we got in 2022. And then 2023, you can see we got 2,300 during the year. And then this past October through December, we had 5,800. So for 8,100. So we're doing pretty well. We have a new corporate structure, which brought in some more money. So now we have well, actually have a slide on. So we have one-person tour companies. So that's like, Jim Murphy, because he's promoting his book and does tours. I have my own company. Reed Addis, Karen Andrade. I'm trying to think who have anyone else here. Vance, you're in the nonprofit one. I don't think anyone else here has a single one, but we have, it's $100 this year for the one-person companies. It was $80 for the early bird price. And then nonprofits are $150 now. So they were $110 early bird price. And we have a new for-profit or a big tour company with 5+ guides, which is $200 now and was $160 for early bird. Most of you know we changed our individual membership, so it was $40 early bird and $60 now, and you can see what the rates were last year. So we had $50 last year and just one corporate category last year for $120. So now we broke it out into 3, and I think it's doing better for us, right? We're getting a little more income, and it's not a burden on the individual guides, right, who maybe don't have that extra cash. So these are our new corporate members. So we wanted you guys to know who they are because we really want to be supporting them and promoting them. So we have 14 in the first category of small tour company, which is a one-person company or up to 4 guides. So we have 14 of them, including Bowtie Tours and the Black Journey. So they are both tour companies that have, I guess they have like 3 or 4 guides. And then all the others are just one person. For nonprofits, you can see we have the American Vegan Center, American Friends of Lafayette, Carpenter's Hall, Alfred's Alley, Gloria Day, the Old Swedes Church, and the Philadelphia Visitor Center Corporation. So that encompasses the City Hall Visitor Center as well as the one at the Independence Visitor Center. And then for our bigger tour companies, we have Free Tours by Foot, which Jen is managing over here. PhillyTown 76, which Rich, if you want to raise your hand there. Rich is a member. He has a t-shirt merchandise company that he's going to talk about after me. He has a profit sharing plan for APT. So we'll hear about that. And then we have Gerber Tours joined this year, and We Venture is also a member. Now Campos was a member. I think that's the only other big one we have, and they may renew, they just haven't renewed yet. So we don't know. So the other income we get comes from the handbook, the certification exam. And in 2022, we made about $1,400 from the symposium. Now the numbers for handbook and certification exam, I'm not sure that if that's net or gross, but at least it gives you an idea of where our income is coming from. So we're doing better. Each year we get more, we have more people taking the exam, more people getting the handbook. So I think that's good, at least the last 2 years since COVID. And then this is just to give you an idea of our expenses, the speakers every month. We have board insurance. There's a monthly Zoom cost, a monthly constant contact and meetup cost, the holiday party, legal fees. In 2022, we officially became a 501c6 nonprofit, and that was like $3,000. So we had to pay for that. The website maintenance, and then other, expenses. We bought a bunch of AV equipment so that we can do these hybrid meetings every month. So we have our little soundboard and amp and microphones and cameras. We bought all of that so that APT has it, and we weren't just borrowing Jen's every month, because if Jen isn't here, then we would be screwed, right? So we have all that. And then some more numbers. On 2022, we had 167 members. And in 2023, we finished off with 160. Now that looks like we went down, but actually at the end of 2021, we had a training program, and anyone who bought the full package for the training automatically got membership. So potentially there were people in there who maybe wouldn't have become members, but it was just given to them. So I think considering that we had like 40 people who were just given membership in 2022, and we had almost the same number in 2023 is pretty good, right? We're doing a good job. You can see our meetup numbers. For meetup, maybe like 3 or 4 people might come to one of our field trips. Occasionally they'll come to our speaker meetings. It seems like an awful lot of people, like 1,000 people, and maybe 3 or 4 come to an event. But it's good. That means 1,000 people are seeing our events. So at least our name is getting out there. People are knowing about us, knowing about history things in Philly. Field trips. So we had 16 and 22, 12 and 23. Book club meetings. And then we have a YouTube channel. I don't know how many of you know about that, but APT has a YouTube channel. So you can, if you look on our website, there's a button on the bottom of the homepage to link to it, or you can go to YouTube and just Google or just search Association of Philadelphia Tour Guides, and it'll pop up. And we have all the videos from the past couple of years, maybe 3 or 4 years, that the speaker allowed us to keep, right? Sometimes they only stay up a month because the speaker doesn't want their presentation to be public for everyone. So the ones that were allowed are still up there. And then some of them are unlisted. If we had a paid workshop, then those people get a passcode in. You can see those numbers. So our education, our speakers and training. You can see the speakers at monthly meetings for both years. At the symposium, we had 11 speakers. The Declaration of Independence panel this year, we had 4 speakers. We did 4 how-to workshops in 2023, which was the first time we had done those. And then in our training last year, you can see we had lectures, tours, and we had a panel discussion with 3 speakers. Some pictures from our training. The one on the I guess, left is the Declaration of Independence panel, and the one on the right is Bob Branch leading one of the tours in the training last year. That's him in the orange hood, if you don't know Bob. So upcoming, really excited about our upcoming events, although it's a lot. So it's all on the website and it'll be in each weekly email, but I just wanted to give an overview here. We're going to do a how to write a resume workshop on January 25th. It's with Hannah Wallace. Some of you might know her from Christchurch. Now she's with the Philadelphia Cultural Alliance. But if you're going to come to the job fair in February, you want to have a resume to hand to people. So if you need some, you just want to have some tips on it or, you know, hear about it again. It may have been years since you actually made a new resume. I know for me, it's been years. So we'll have that January 25th. We'll have a Zoom presentation on sustainable tourism on February 21st. Vance, did you hear from that guy yet? Not yet. So we're doing this in collaboration with the DC Guild, which is in training right now. And then the president's leaving for Sicily for that world conference. So hopefully we'll get it settled before he goes. But tentatively, the World Federation of Tourist Guide Associations, the WFTGA, they pick February 21st every year as International Tourist Guide Day. And they pick a theme every year. So the theme this year is tourist guides are guardians in promoting and encouraging green tourism. So the plan is to have a panel on sustainable tourism with DC. DC already had a speaker lined up from North Texas University. I forget his name, Berenda KC, I think. He's originally from Nepal. Apparently he's the sustainable tourism expert in the country. So he'll be speaking, and then we're hoping Vance, who's back there if you want to wave, Vance, from the American Vegan Center to talk about the vegan scene in Philly. And I'm hoping the presentation will really cover how we as tour guides with our groups can have more of an impact in having sustainable tourism. Like I understand theoretically sustainable tourism, but what can I do specifically to help promote it and encourage it? So that's kind of what I'm hoping it'll be, but we'll see. And that'll be free to anyone who participates. It'll be 11 a.m. on February 21st, which is a Wednesday. And then the training starts the next day, Thursday through Sunday, February 22nd through the 25th. We just nailed down the topics last night. So we're going to have the 1838 Black Metropolis. If you don't know about this, in each weekly email I have, and on the website, I have a link to their webpage and some of their tours. And there was an article in the Enquirer about them not too long ago, like right before the holidays, I think. So you may have seen that. But check out the links. They're really cool. It's this really cool history that not many people know about that they kind of unearthed. So they were going to do a tour, but now it's going to be a presentation. We're also going to do sessions on how to design and craft a tour, on storytelling. Jim Mundy from the Union League, he's going to lead a tour on Civil War era history in Philadelphia. Antoinette, our new treasurer, she's going to lead a tour in Northern Liberties. We get to see like a neighborhood tour since that's sort of a going trend now in Philly. And we're hoping to have a panel discussion with updates on the 2026 plans, hoping to get Visit Philly, the Park Service, and Philly 250. So hopefully they can give us, a brief update and take questions and let us know what's going on with that planning. And then Jim Murphy has agreed to lead a tour on Avenue of the Founders. So you guys who are newer to APT maybe don't know about the great APT initiative, which I don't even know, 2018 or 2019, 2018 probably, or even 18. But if you notice when you're on like 6th Street, they have the little red part under the street sign that says Avenue of Freedom. And on Market Street, it says Avenue of the Founders. We did a tour of Avenue of Freedom in 2021 at the training. Joe Becton and Ernest led that. But we've never had one on Avenue of the Founders. So what is it, like 4 or 5 presidents have lived on Market Street? Yeah, something like 5. And even if you include Timothy Matlock, as Mike would always like to do, then there's an extra one. And if you don't get that, talk to him afterwards and he will talk your ear off about Timothy Matlock. So I think it'll be a really good training. There'll also be opportunities to shadow tours with We Venture. So go on a public tour with them before and after the training program. And I think probably free tours by foot as well, but we haven't settled those details yet. So that'll be great to kind of shadow a guide who's working with the public, right? And I know Larry, I don't think Larry's here tonight, is he? Larry was at our meeting last night and he said, you know, he had been a docent at Carpenter's Hall where you're like standing in one place talking about one location. But when he did the training program last year and he got to go on tours, it was really helpful to him to see people, you know, walking in a tour and interacting and thinking about the timing and where you're going. So it's especially if you're a new guide. But I want to emphasize that this training is not like, I think in past years, it's felt like the training program was meant for new guys who want to take the certification exam. But we really want this one to be for new and experienced guides. So we're offering sessions that will benefit everyone, not just new guides. And it's not just to train you for the certification exam. In fact, it hardly trains you for the certification exam at all. You really need to study the handbook for the certification exam, right? But it's still useful if you're going to work as a guide, I think, to go on tours and see actual guides working and then to get all the knowledge in the presentations. So hopefully all of you will find something that you will, you know, benefit from and come out for it. And then the job fair, February 24th, Saturday, February 24th, it'll be in the afternoon. We're going to have it over at Old First Reformed where we had the declaration event, 4th and Race. We already have 7 tables confirmed. So we're really excited. We have 18 max. Maybe we can get more in there, but we got a little ways to go, 11 more spaces to go. But I hope you'll all come to the job fair, even just to talk to these people if you don't particularly need more work. I think it's good to get your name out there, meet people. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work coming up in the next few years. I don't know that we'll do this every year. It's kind of a lot of work to organize. So come this year and get your resume out there. And then, you know, you'll be good for a couple of years with these companies. Okay, so we're going to hold final comments. I'll just ask if there's any questions, but I want to have some kind of brainstorming at the very end of the meeting. People have ideas for this year, initiatives they'd like to start, things they'd like to see APT do, but we're going to hold that for a minute because Rich Armandi is going to do a little presentation about the profit sharing opportunity that he's offering us. But just before we go to Rich, are there any questions like on this presentation specifically? Or was it like so fast, you're like, it just went all over your head and you'll watch the recording later? I covered it all, no questions. Mike. Yeah, I think I said 12 and 16, didn't I? Or did I miss that? Mike was paying attention very, very well because he's chatting with the Zoom people today so that they feel included. So he might have missed something. But yeah, we did. So Mike was just saying that he thought we missed the field trip thing. We had 16 field trips in 2023 and 12 in 2020, or other way around. 16 in 2022 and 12 in 2023. Mike. Or come up here because people on Zoom can't hear you. Oh, or you can talk on this. Needs batteries. That's all right. He can come up. Mike needs the exercise.
Hello, everybody. It was 2 years ago this month, our January meeting was by Zoom, and we opened with the then new board inviting the members to send suggestions for field trips and events and so on. So that's where all of those meetings and ideas came from that perhaps we hadn't seen as many before or hadn't done anything of those natures before. Most of them have come from you all. So please continue to send in your suggestions. We have a lot of them. One of the suggestions came from Dan Bartow. He took care personally of showing us Citizens Bank Ballpark, home of the then National League champion Philadelphia Phillies. Hopefully to come the world champion Phillies. So it's not just Old City that we go to. We've spread out and we certainly can go further. So please send your ideas in. It's helpful if you're willing to help connect the APT to the site, and I can handle any of the registrations and work with you. Jim and I Jim Murphy and I are putting one together now to go visit Glory Day and include the cemetery. So please keep those ideas coming. You can email me or call me, whatever you'd like to do, and we get to work and try to get it to as many of them as we can. Jen?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is Graham from one of the nonprofits, another corporate member that joined. So Graham asked about the training schedule, whether it be all day. It will be Thursday through Sunday. There will be 2 events each day. So there'll be a morning event and an afternoon event with a break for lunch in between, but we don't have that nailed down yet. So I'm hoping by the end of this week, early next week, I have emails out to all of the speakers to see when, put the puzzle pieces in and when everybody's available. But Saturday would be the job fair in the afternoon and the 2026 panel in the morning. So Saturday is kind of set. The job fair will be 1:30 to 4:30. I know that for sure. And the morning panel will be 9:30 to 12:30 on Saturday. But those are the only times that we have settled because we're doing it at Old First Reformed. So I had to set that up with them. Oh, and most importantly, I almost forgot to mention, Visit Philly is a sponsor of our job fair. They are giving us $1,000 so that we can have our location at Old First Reform. Like, yay, Visit Philly, which is the biggest donation sponsorship we've had to date. So that's pretty exciting. So we'll make sure. Say it again. Oh, yeah, Bob has not received it. They did promise to send it before the holidays and he hasn't gotten it yet, but I confirmed since the holidays and we are still on their radar and they are still sending it. So I confirmed we're all good. Okay, any other questions? Oh, Rich? Mm-hmm. The Rich is saying this is the best taste you would ever want to be a tour guide. Yeah, so just to recap, so I know people on Zoom couldn't hear that. Judy mentioned at the last meeting that there were a number of associations around the country who were in the national association that had to fold because they just didn't have, I don't really know why, I guess they didn't have members or income or whatever. And COVID certainly was very rough, for a lot of the cities. But we not only managed to survive COVID, we're thriving, right? So he said, kudos to the previous board and the current board that, Philly's doing good. And we're getting geared up for 2026, which is going to be huge. So we're, I feel really good that we're in a really good place. Bonita? Sorry, I didn't understand that. Yeah, why don't you come up here, Bonita? Or you can use this mic. Sorry, that was there's an activity that's going on for tourism, but she hadn't described. And the board is prepared for it, and current board is really kicking it the way it's supposed to be done. There may be where you might have to pick up and do the natural piece as well, just like the other organizations, because you are already frozen. You run the whole. Right. Mike says we can run the whole country. Well, actually, I don't know if Bonita knows, so there is a national association with all the associations from different around the US called the National Tourist Guide Federation or something like that. And they do a national conference every year. And in 2025, the next one, it's going to be here in Philly. We're going to host it. Yeah. So see, we are. See, Bonita's already on it and it's already, she's a beacon of the future. Yeah. So any other questions, comments on this? Okay, we'll let Rich Armandi come up. Oh, one more mic. Go ahead. Right. I'm hoping for 200 this year, but we'll see. Yeah, Mike is saying that at the beginning of 2023, we had what, 120, and the beginning of this year we have 128, or was it the other way around? But at the beginning of the year, right? Because we got more members throughout the year. So we should be on track to do as many as we did last year, at least. And I'm hoping for up to, I'm hoping for 200, set my sights on 200. We'll see. It would be nice to get all of the people guiding in the city that you see out and about who are not members to get them to join. So I'm hoping the job fair is going to encourage those people to, to come and join. All right, we're good now. So I'm going to introduce Rich Armandi. He's been a member for a couple of years now, and he's going to talk about this profit sharing opportunity. And I think, do we need a minute to get him on a, do you want me to pull it up on, I can pull it up on my computer.
I can work off either one. I'm not going to touch it. Hello,
good.
everybody. Thanks for letting me join the meeting tonight and present to you the arrangement that Marianne and I have been working on since November. And then we did a presentation with the board, and the board approved it Monday night. And I have it as the Association of Philadelphia Tour Guides online souvenir shop, because I feel there's, as we integrate this, this really becomes your souvenir shop, that each of you will have a lot of input. You can be, as you see, we go through the presentation, you'll be able to influence your customers with the opportunity to buy from the souvenir shop. You'll be able to buy association gear off the website. And you'll also, I'm excited about give us ideas about what we want for future collections. So the design and what will look like, and what the product lines will look like going forward. Mugs, hats, shirts, whatever. And you'll see the full line of what I have now. What I have now is just the starting point. You go to the next slide, please. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about the opportunity as I'm talking about now. I'll give you a little evolution of where the collection that I have now, the music theme, the collection that is available right now, that is probably about 80% of the product line is with Boogie Ben, as you'll come to see him. But that'll change in the future as we get more input from your customers and the tour guides about what direction we would like to go for some great ideas and to promote tourism in the city. I want to be an extension of what you hear in the streets with the customers about what might sell. Talk up the souvenir shop. Whenever you're doing a tour, obviously people may be looking for souvenirs. You'll be handing out cards. when that customer buys a particular product from the website, you'll get a referral credit and the association will get a referral credit. And I'll explain all that in detail. We'll talk about, as members, you'll all get, as of tonight, you'll all get a 25% discount. So anything you buy on the website, you put the code 700 is the association code. Use 700 in as a discount code and you'll get 25% off, whether you use any products you use for yourself, whether you buy sweatshirts. And I brought a sampling of some of my prototype stuff, just to give you an idea of the different types of products that are available. And then we'll talk about how the discount program works and then a registration form. Obviously, I need to be able to know who encouraged or referred that customer to the website. And we'll do that through a unique code. And I'll explain that as we go forward. Slide. So it's a win-win by first developing a tour guide website so that we can all own it together, if you will, in terms of it's the association's website that will have products that are directly unique to the website and also influenced by the tour guides. Provide additional services to your customers and providing additional revenue for yourselves individually and for the association. Access to the APT merchandise. We're going to, right now, when you click on it, when you go to the website, and the website is PhillyTown76.com. You can view it on your phone or obviously on any computer. PhillyTown76.com. When you go there, when you click on any one of the icons, a collection will come up, and I'll explain that in a minute. And then, as I said, and I'm excited about the future design input, Jen will be the liaison. So any information that you want about ideas, about products, about things that you think might sell, whether you want to move towards certain types of collections, locations or whatever, differ than what's available now, all that input will help me generate new product lines as we move forward in the future, so that it'll become more and more of your own marketplace, if you will, for the souvenir merchandise. Next. I started this back in '76 with a friend of mine, and this was the first shirt we did, Boogie On Down to PhillyTown, which we see was a very different time, if any of you remember, that we sold those from card tables and vendors on the street. Well, that's no longer, obviously the whole souvenir shop is bricks and mortars, or it's big corporations doing all of the gift shops. It's a very different type of business that it was. So we did that back then, and we ran PhillyTown T-shirt company, started it. Boogie Ben was the only design that we had at the time, and we sold over 10,000 of those shirts, believe it or not, in just that one season. But as any of you that were here during the bicentennial, the streets were packed and people were buying anything they get their hands on. And we anticipate, obviously, that's going to move up to that as we move towards the semi-quincentennial as well. Next. From that original Boogie On Down to PhillyTown design, we then evolved to a full color, a Ben solo, if you will. The idea was Ben Franklin playing music or singing music, singing liberty, and for people who visit the city to hear Ben Franklin in his songs of liberty is the way we would merchandise the product. And with that one solo, as we called it, Ben Franklin, we moved to a founder's design where we got Jefferson, Washington, Adams, and Franklin together in a more of a traditional quartet with Meet the Founders, which a play on the Meet the Beatles. If you remember the Meet the Beatles album, that logo was set up just the way it was in the Beatles album, but Meet the Founders. So that was the third or fourth generation, if you will. And then we played with that a little bit, the traditional band arrangement with Boogie Downtown, and instead of Boogie On Down, Boogie Downtown. And you'll see in the website, there are several cities we made most of the, about 80% of our businesses in Philadelphia, but we do have, if some people are visiting some other cities, they can have Boogie Downtown New York, Boogie Downtown Boston. And if you click on the different cities, you can get the same design with a different city name. Then the latest version, we wanted to go to a more period correct arrangement with the band. So we put Ben on the harmonica, and with Washington didn't play any instruments, but he's singing and dancing. He loved to do that. And Jefferson on the violin. So that's the latest version of the band. And we use two sayings around that. Founders jamming in Philly, and I've heard the founders in Philly. So again, playing off the idea of whatever tour you're doing, if there's any discussion about, did you hear that, and hear the founders, the shirt is a nice tie-in that someone can go home with or they can order it when they get home, or order it on their phones and be ready for when they get home. A shirt with any one of those designs. Next. That's the homepage, if you will. Now, when you go on the homepage, you'll see the association logo. When you click on that, it'll bring it to the association collection. That's not done yet. I've just started that collection. I've been busy with the contracts and getting this arrangement done. So I haven't really filled out the whole collection, but I did do a sweatshirt. So a sweatshirt like that with the association logo, tour guide written down the sleeve. So we could do some nice things with that. If you buy anything on that, again, for your personal use or anything in the website, use code 700, you'll get a 25% discount right off the bat. Then there's mugs and a Ben's money and Ben's quotes. I do a lot of things with Ben Franklin's quotes, and they're very popular, especially in some of the youth shirts. Some of you can order them with a youth shirt, a unisex shirt, or a woman's fashion design. So there's several designs, types of shirts, and several different designs. Next slide. Then you could see by clicking on, there's 5 design collections there, or 5 city collections. So by clicking on any of these, you'll just go to what we call a collection page. When that collection page, then you can make different choices about what product and what logo you want. Next one. This is a design page. And when you go on the design page, or the collection page, excuse me, you'll be able to find that logo and in a variety of different 3 unisex brands, which would male, female. The sweatshirt is a unisex sweatshirt. There's 2 different sweatshirts. And then there's two men's, a heavier grade, more heavier, that like blue is what we call the men's classic. And then there are 2 women's. There's a woman fashion and a woman rib back, and then a youth shirt. So you'll see some of the collections are totally built out with that logo in any one of those designs. Some of them, some of the newer designs, we haven't put all that product on there. There's about 160 different products available right now. Well, you'll see they're arranged that way. And then you click on the particular shirt that you're looking for, and then the pricing information, color information. There's several different colors. And we don't warehouse any of this stuff. This is all called print on demand. Everything that is ordered, the Printful is the company that does all the distribution and the printing. They have a headquarters in North Carolina distribution center, where that logo and that shirt that you pick get linked up there, get printed, and get shipped out of North Carolina to the person making the order. So it's all on demand products. There's no inventory that you have to worry about. Next slide. Go back to that one, just one more. There's up at the top of the collection, there's the designs that are in that collection. As you scroll down, the designs that are in the collection, you can see that over to the left, and then all the other collections. So you can jump from one collection to the other right from this collection screen, go to different collections. And I encourage you to get familiar with it, because if you're going to talk it up with your customers, you want to be a little bit familiar about, what's available, what you might like, what you saw that you think might be appropriate to recommend to some of your customers. So it's going to take a little bit getting used to. And I suggest from the collection pages that you move around from the designs to the different collection pages, and you'll get a much better feel for how it's all constructed. Okay. Now, the types of products that are available, it's not just T-shirts, obviously. It's the first one is called the unisex premium, and then a unisex soft style, which is a lower price shirt, but there's not as much colors available. They're only the gray, the black, and heather gray, and navy blue. And then there's the men's classic that I mentioned, is that light blue one, which is a little heavier. No, the light blue, that's the men's classic. That's it there. And it's a little heavier gauge. You can feel the difference in the material. And then there's a men's tank top. And then there's a very popular 3/4 sleeve that's available unisex. And then the women's shirts are the fashion fit and the racerback shirt are two of the women. All of the designs are featured with these particular types of products. And then obviously the youth shirts. So you'll see every design, you have quite a bit to offer your clientele in terms of a broad range of types of material. Next one. And you'll see these are the quotes. And I talked about right now we just do a little caricature of Boogie Ben, we call him. That was the original Ben Franklin, the logo that we started with. And then Ben's quotes next to that. And there's a variety of quotes that we use. And if, by all means, if there's some quotes that you think that would be appropriate, pretty easy for me to add that on. Once I get the art, know what you want, I can get the artwork and set it up. It's a very simple process for me to set that artwork up and put it out in one of the collections. We did a Christmas ornament this year. I think, and that's got the ornament was the first one that we did this year with the association on a Christmas ornament, association logo. But I also have Ben's quote. I also have a quote for Ben on the Christmas ornament. So if you wanted to do something, let's say with a children's group, and you wanted them all to have the same quotation or a Ben's quote for a particular tour that you wanted to do, that can be arranged. And you can give them out the discount coupons in advance. They can buy the shirts and they can wear them the day of the tour. Next. Also hats, beanies. Now, besides the direct print, that they also do embroidering. So I'm working on an embroider right now of the logo, the association logo, on like a polo shirt with a nice embroidered logo. It takes a little bit of work in terms of getting the stitch. You have a lot of colors in your logo, getting the right number of stitches. I'm working with the designers right now to get that straightened out. But you can see that they're available on, once we get those logos, we can have association logo beanie hats with an embroidered logo on it. The Christmas ornaments that I mentioned. The sweatshirts are very popular. I've tried to get sweatshirts available in every one of the designs. All the kids that are wearing sweatshirts now. Bags, the tote bags, you can get the logo. We got a copy of one of the tote bags here. And then several of the different types of mugs, the red, the blue, and then the one with the tall mug with just the logo of Ben's classic $100 bill logo on the mug. So you can see that there's a lot of variety in the things that we can bring in the future. Next one. Now, the way this will work, I'll talk about the profit sharing. Right now, the way it's set up is I use as an example the unique premium tee. That product basically is marketed up 100%. It cost me fully printed $12.10 for that shirt. We'll mark that up another $12.85 because typically it sells for $24.95. So of that $12.85 markup, the customer will receive a 5% discount when, as an incentive to use the card. You're going to give them a business size card, which I can pass out tonight, and you'll give them the card. They will use that code that's on the card and get a 5% discount. So that's their incentive to get a discount coupon. The association will receive a 5% or $1.25. The association will get a referral credit for every shirt. And then the tour guide who gives out the card will get a 15% or $3.75 on that particular shirt. So that's the way it'll work. And each quarter, at the end of the quarter, I'll do a spreadsheet and I'll send you a list of all of the purchases made using your unique code. Everybody will have a unique code. And we'll start with like 710, 711, 712. Everybody will have a 3-digit code, which they'll write on to the business card, a discount coupon that we're calling them, and giving it out to the customer. And that's how I'll be able to track it. Each quarter will total up what credits you have. You'll get a check from PhillyTown 76 at the end of the quarter, and the association will get a check at the end of the quarter for cumulatively all of the shirts or products, whatever products. You'll get the percentage of those referral fees will go back to the association. So that's the way it's set up right now. So of that, the association and the customer will share $6.25 of the profits, and PhillyTown will get $6.60. Now that'll change from each product is a little bit different in terms of how it's made, how many colors, what the actual printing costs are. So that's a pretty good example of how the profit sharing will work. It'll be slightly different for a few pennies either way on a lot of different products. But that's the model that we agreed on with the association. Next. This is the card. The card is that red and blue business type card. You'll see a little white rectangle. That'll be blank when you get it. You'll fill out a registration form, and I'll then send it back to you with an assigned 3-digit number. All you have to do is take the card, write the number on it, and that'll be your supply of discount coupons that you will give to customers. You basically have 3 things that you do. First, you'll be issued the 3-digit discount code coupon, and you'll write that on the card. You'll distribute those cards to your customers. To each customer gets 1 card, and then you need to market the brand. We need to talk it to your customers about the souvenir shop, some of the ideas, some of the things you like, some of the things that might work. Mention it to them and discuss it with them so that they can either order right off their phone, or when they go home. A lot of times they don't have time to buy the souvenirs. So you can say, when you get home, you got plenty of time to decide exactly what product you want, what color, what size, and the shirt will be shipped directly to them. It usually takes anywhere from 4 to 8 days for a product to come pretty quickly. Any questions about the cards? I got a supply of about 50 cards each that I can give out, and when you take a registration card. Oh, and I should mention, this is an optional program. It's anybody who wishes to participate obviously can by filling out a card, giving me your information, and I'll be able to then send it back to you with your 3-digit code. And then when you need a supply of cards, you just ask for it. I'll make sure we have an additional box of cards here. I'll supply the blank cards, and when you need them, just ask for them. Next. The registration forms. Now, the registration forms are available tonight. I'll have them here. And you can either pick up a form and take it home, or you can fill it out and give it to me, and then I'll go ahead and register you and then send it back to you. I can either email it back to you, scan it and email it, or I can send you hard copy, whatever you prefer. Any revenue over $600, I have to report to the IRS with 1099, as you all know, miscellaneous. So I need either Social Security numbers or your employee identification number. You don't have to give that to me now, but in the event that you start getting credits, when we get up close to 600, I'm going to have to make sure that I get those employee identification numbers. So my accountant can get the 1099s out at the end of the year. Hopefully that's a problem we all have and make a lot of revenue from it. And that would be a good problem to have. I'm also, Marianne and I worked out that at the job fair, I'll be at the job fairs. So if you don't register now, or if you're not sure, you want to wait a while, I'll be available at the job fair to get registration cards, discount coupons, and hand them out that time. Make sure you get my email address. I'll have business cards here. And if you don't pick up a registration form either tonight or at the job fair, just send me an email. You need a registration form, I'll get it to you. As soon as I get it back signed from you, then I will go ahead and issue you the 3-digit number. Either email it back or mail it, whatever you prefer. Next slide. As you go through the site, there's a couple of ways to look at the entire collection. There's a page that's called the collection that actually rotates the cities and then the designs. Next slide. There's also a Boogie Bend promotions page in the website. And I don't do any of that work now. I used to do some promotional work using some of the logos and custom work, but I don't do very much of that now. But that page is available. Next slide. Boogie Bend's blog is a blog that I can make available to anyone. If you want to do I did a blog there. The one that's up there now is one on right across the street. Ben Franklin's original print shop was there, and there's a whole blog on the research that I did about finding out about that particular location. And there's some pictures and basically a call to action for somebody to recognize that site. It's an interesting blog, but I'll make that available to any one of you. If you want to do a blog on either a location or a particular theme or whatever, just send me the information. And usually like once a month, I'd like to put a new blog up there. So if you got an idea on a blog for anything that's relative to obviously touring here in the city, we'll go ahead and you can fully use the blog site. I'll make it totally available. Just send it to me and I'll post it. Next. This is some of the research that I did about the location, and you'll see that all in that blog. Next slide. It's some more information that I did about making sure that I was accurate in identifying that particular site. Next one. I think that's it. All right, so I thought I had a question. Any questions, concerns, or anything that you'd like me to clarify? Yeah, Mike. Well, we started the business back in '76, and then obviously my career was in facilities management. I was a vice president of an international facilities management company, and I traveled all over the world maintaining large commercial facilities. I did that for 40 years and then retired in 2015 and picked up the business again. So I've been active at it early on in my 20s, and then after I retired, I picked it up in 2015, and it's just been, kind of a labor of love at this particular point. Back in 1976, when I had vendors selling them on the street, I had about 5 or 6 vendors, and we were printing them up in Clifton Heights. We were screen printing them, and my partner at the time were driving around distributing them all of the guys in the card tables, and we sold quite a bit of them. It was quite popular shirt back then. We actually, from 76 to probably about 80, and then it tailed off. And then my partner, he worked for Bell Labs, and went on his way, and then I went on my way, and we really didn't do anything until 2015, where we picked it back up. That's when we took the original design. We luckily we had the original design artwork. We found an artist that helped us reproduce that, and then we started doing the color enhancements, and then we did the founders band. It's all been since 2015. And the sales, we haven't really done any work with social media, and that's the name of the game today. In order to drive business to the website, you need a very active social media campaign. And I'm not much on social media. I'm more comfortable with getting a group like the association to get involved and to help market. I think it's a much better way for me anyway to handle marketing of the product and getting the word out that the website's there. That's the only thing we got to do, let people know it's there, and business will come. Yeah, that is, if you click on the APT logo, I did a couple of just sampling, a couple of mugs. I did a sweatshirt. I didn't get the polo done yet with the embroidering because that's going to take a little bit more work. A bag. Now that we have all of the arrangements done with the association, I'll have a little bit more time to start filling out that collection, the association collection. But if anybody's got ideas about something you'd like to see, let us know. The board liaison will be Jen. We'll bring it to the board. Once the board approves it, then I don't want to be able to have approval rights on anything we put on with the association's logo till I get board approval. So we'll just try to work it that way so that there's some controls on what we go forward with. But we can come up with some great ideas that are general tourism ideas. The I Love Philly and the one I just came out with, it says Discover Philadelphia. You know, any types of general touring type of ideas, sky's the limit. And we've got a couple of years now before the semi-quincentennial to come up with some really good, catchy ideas. And I know that there's not more of a creative group in this group here that'll help us with doing that in the future. Any other questions? Thank you.
Yeah, so and I just wanted to reiterate that Jen is going to be the liaison. So if it ends up that a bunch of you have ideas, if you have creative, if you're into that kind of graphic arts kind of stuff, or you think of for APT or even for your, like Jen was thinking for free tours for by foot, maybe she could get t-shirts or something. You know, Tony's like really excited about that. And you can get a nice new orange t-shirt to wear on the tours. Yeah, that's what Rich was saying, maybe tour guide down the arm with APT. Yeah, the APT sweatshirt. I know at the holiday party, because Judy got those prizes for people, right? Like some mugs and bags, and people were like, "Oh, I want one. Can I get one?" So I was like, "Don't get anyone for anybody yet. Wait till we have our profit sharing, and then, you know, Rich will have an APT line, and then you'll get 25% off any of that." Yeah, with the code 700. Yeah. Any other questions on that? No. So I think it's a win-win, right? I mean, if you do tours and you're willing to give these out to your guests and they buy something, you get 15%, the guest gets 5% off, and APT gets 5%. So why not, right? We'll try it this year, see how it goes. I think it's win-win. Who doesn't need more money? It's all good. And I think there's a lot of potential to it 2026. If you guys have creative ideas for 2026 merchandise, right? Share it with Jen, and maybe we can even get a committee going if there's a bunch of people that have ideas. You know, we'll see what happens. Cool. So what time is it? 8 o'clock. Oh, that worked out really good. So now we just have kind of open time. I do want us to have some time to kind of get to know people and let some of the new members especially kind of introduce themselves, or people who haven't come much, we can see who they are. I just want to know first if anybody has, or anybody on Zoom could chip in as well. You can put it in the chat or anything. If anyone has ideas, initiatives, things they want to see, ideas they have for APT that you just, even if they sound crazy, like we're just sort of, and Pam, if you would jot these down, I don't have my notebook with me here. But just any ideas, anybody have ideas of things they'd love to see us do, or ways you want us to expand? Tony would suggest a couple things, but she can't stand rejection. We know that's not true. Do you want to come up and say your ideas? Do you want to come up and say your ideas? Heavens no. Tony hates standing in front of a crowd. No, anybody have ideas they want to share? I know it's if you don't want to come up to the microphone, you could just say it and I'll repeat it so the Zoom people can hear it. Oh yeah, and Zoom is on the screen. So if you wanna if you guys wanna nobody show your picture when you're on Zoom. If any of you want to show your picture and say anything. Everyone's in their pajamas eating dinner, so they don't want to have their camera on. But that's a nice turnout though. Hi. Nobody has any ideas? Come on, it's beginning of the year. Bruce has an idea. Oh, tour of City Hall? Like a tour for like a field trip to City Hall to do a tour for members? Okay. We did have one, I think not last year, maybe the year before. Oh, Tomar, right. Oh, yay. So Marc just started doing tours at City Hall. Very nice. Well, maybe you can do one for members at APT. Yeah, I know we had, wait just a second. I know we had, did Karen do it a couple years ago? Yeah, Karen did one a couple years ago for APT members and I couldn't go, but then she just let me come on one of her tours after that because I couldn't go that time. So certainly I know Antoinette does tours there, Karen Sutton. Wait a couple months. Oh, second floor is closed. Oh, the tower's closed because the elevator broke. Yeah, don't go now. Well, we'll wait a couple months till it's a more advantageous time to go. But yes, that's a great idea. Noted. Oh, maybe the shipyard. Yeah, we haven't actually ever done, to my knowledge, we haven't ever done a field trip down there. We did a long time ago. Oh, the USS, United States. That was with Atlas Obscura. That wasn't APT. But that was amazing. Yeah, if we could get a tour of that again. I don't know how they got that tour. But yeah, shipyard or the USS United States, that would be awesome. We did do the nail yard. But let's do it again. And I think actually Judy used to do tours. I think Judy, does anyone know? I think Judy did tours of the shipyard. She's online. Oh, is that Judy Smith? I can't see with that thing. Yes, she has. Oh, for NAFTA, you mean? Yeah, so Judy's thinking of having a tour at City Hall for the NFTGA conference. And she said, yes, she did do tours of the Navy Yard. So we'll have to tap her for that. That would be cool. Yeah, it's really cool down there, the way they've renovated everything. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Oh, so he said somebody from Rose Engineering gave the tour originally. And Representative Urban Outfitters. Okay. But yeah, that could be revisited. I think that I didn't go whenever we had it before. I don't remember that. A long time ago. Rich? All right, why don't you come and use the mic? Because your thoughts are longer than a sentence. For me to repeat. It's challenging for me to repeat.
To my chin. So this is not a concrete thought. It's just a suggestion. But I've always wanted to see APT get more of a regional recognition. And years ago, we were able to actually get WHYY to allow the group to staff the phone bank for one of their donation programs. And unfortunately, I forget, but there was like a national disaster and that never happened. But a lot of people participated, and I thank you for all of that. And it's that kind of activity that I think would raise the specter, the recognition of our organization to a wider audience, which would then perhaps translate into more clients and business, because people would say, oh, well, let me get a guide from APT. So I'm throwing out the idea that if we have an idea or a thought of how we could raise our regional exposure, that would, I think, benefit all of us. And one idea I have, and I don't know anything about how this could be done, is maybe we could establish ourselves someday as a clearinghouse of tourism information, so that with all the members that we have now, tourist organizations, we would be the clearinghouse for people who, let's say, school teachers or principals or whoever, if they want to have a tour of Philadelphia, they would go through APT to contract with a tour company rather than scout through different tour companies on a website and, you know, pick one that may or may not be a reputable one. We would be the clearinghouse where people would know this is a good operation because they're associated with APT. Anyway, sorry for the rambling, a bunch of different thoughts.
When you're done, I got one.
Okay.
So from Zoom, Eric, how about some places in the suburbs that have a Philly connection? That also sparks an idea of possibly doing something like the Mercer Museum or some of those, and possibly some Amish sites and things like that. So kind of expanding on what Eric said. Yeah, like up to New Hope or Jersey and things of that nature.
We do have a couple of ideas for that are in the works already. Rose Valley Museum is in the works, and Marc and Bonnie are helping put that together. The Mercer Museum has been mentioned several times. So do we have anyone that's willing to spearhead that from the Mercer Museum's point of view? Get in contact and set up dates and transportation out to the suburbs. I can work with that person, but we need somebody to like co-captain a field trip. Judy did one last year effortlessly by herself, of course. I would need some help getting a group like this out into the suburbs. So if someone wants to spearhead that with me, we can start with Mercer, because that idea has come up. Joan Schultz presented that idea a couple of years ago, actually. And what's the other museum that's near there? Very good. So any volunteers, my email address is mike@phillyguides.org. So send me emails, I'll respond to you. Sometimes I respond back with my personal email, but just send it to mike@phillyguides.org. It's a little easier for me to find emails out.
And some suggestions: Hope Lodge, Grand Park, Historic Grand Estate, Havertown.
Any others? Any other ideas? Lars? Yeah, Pam, can you write a note that I'll send Lars the list from the last 2 years of our events? Yeah. We made up Mike actually put together a list of the events, like highlights from 2023 and 2022. So I can send you that just so you have an idea of what we did. But yeah, we've gone all over the city, all over different, the year before We went to Harrisburg. We took a trip. We went down to the Dickinson Plantation in Delaware. We did the Kennett Square Underground Railroad bus tour last year. So we go and we do things in the city too. So we try and mix it up. Pretty much whatever somebody suggests and is willing to kind of help us. And remember, we're all volunteers, right? So anything, if you have an idea, if you're willing to help us a little bit with it to kind of get it going, that always makes it more likely to happen, right? Than if it's just relying on us. Which is how I'm standing here right now, because I get ideas and I'm like, I'm just going to do them myself because I want to see them done.
I know that APT has been to Pennsylvania Hospital in the past, but maybe we want to revisit that. And also, I would be willing to lead an APT group at the Hill Physic House.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So for
Put it on the
anybody
list.
who's into the medical aspect of it. And I have someone I can contact at Pennsylvania Hospital who came through physics seeking information on our collection, so I can
Oh, cool.
contact him.
Yeah, I want to reiterate what Mike was saying. The last 2 years, we really had a lot of input from you guys, from the members, who with ideas and spearheading, different visits and things that we would not have been able to do it otherwise. So I think it's really cool. You guys are definitely empowered to, I know Nina, like every day is going somewhere to do something in the city. So if you want to bring some APT people with you, just let us know. Yeah, but if you're out and about doing things and you hear something cool that people would like, more fun to go with a bunch of us than by yourself. So
Another suggestion from Zoom, the Wharton Asterisk Museum. And then Judy putting in a plug about the NAGFA committee forming. Please contact if interested.
yeah, so that's the National Association. So we're the Philly Tour Guide Association. There's a DC, there's a New York, there's all different cities. And then there's a national association that they're all members of, and they have a national conference every 2 years. So it's going to be in Philly in 2025. Judy's heading it up. So anybody who wants to be on that committee to help, organize this it's going to be a really big, big deal. And with 2026 coming, we really want it to be good, right? We really want to shine. So we get everybody interested in coming to Philly. If no one, anybody have anything else? Oh, did you have another idea, Lars? Oh, yeah, I wanted to say if anybody we wanted to kind of get some. Yeah, we want you to introduce yourself. Well, Bonita, but she had to leave. So why don't we just have for the remaining time for like another 15, 20 minutes, just have some people just come up and give a little info about yourself, like what you do as a guide, where you're from, anything you want to let us know about yourself. So why don't we have Lars, what kind of tours you give? We'll have Tony go second. But Lars, you want to come up and just let us, talk about yourself? Come up here because otherwise the people on Zoom can't hear unless it's through a microphone.
I have one more idea. Or request, which is if anybody has an idea for someone to talk to at the art museum to get in and see a collection that's not on regular display, please email me. You can do that at secretary@phillyguides.org. Thank you.
Before you go, one last thing. George Boudreau wants us to visit him at the Ebenezer Maxwell.
Oh, Ebenezer, I'm from East Falls, so went to school at GFS, so yeah. Okay. Oh, sure. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm primarily a residential designer doing renovations, additions, interior for 35 years throughout the area. And so my mother was an architectural historian, and that pretty much sort of was our social and professional life. So for me, architecture and buildings are just sort of in the blood. So I've gotten very interested in going a lot to my in-laws for taking elder care of going up and down Broad Street. So I started exploring Broad Street and found treasures, even around Germantown, the Hood Cemetery, if you ever heard of that. beautiful Beaux-Arts entrance, perhaps the best one ever. So from Germantown, Mount Airy, Chestnut Hill, East Falls, that was my general growing up area, my soil. So I got very interested in these areas that basically, to be frank with you, most white people don't go to. Sorry to say it like that. I'm just from East Falls, Germantown, so just how I'm expressing it. But there's a tremendous number of areas that are completely underserved with the architectural treasures they have. Oh, yeah. And for instance, there's the de Benneville Cemetery on Broad Street. It's a little stone wall that comes out, and he was one of the two main founders with his family, very prominent during the Revolution, of the Unitarian Church. One of the two main founders in America, and the cemetery is there. And we kept on, my wife and I kept on going by it, and I couldn't understand what the hell this beautiful old stone wall was doing there. And then I started scootering around. It's amazing to me what's there. The cemetery, the people that live across the street from Broad to 15th can't stop to tell you enough how much they love it, how much there's history there. There's an original Victorian gatekeeper's house. It's just amazing what's around this city that most of us don't know. You go up and down Broad Street, go around 15th. You went to 15th and Stenton, you'd see the Morris estate with the original Morris house with the Morris family from Germantown that financed the war. So whole parts of Olney, beautiful architecture. If you're familiar with Joseph Minardi, who does a lot of books about the Northwest, there's a tremendous amount of areas that aren't touched beyond Center City in West Philadelphia, maybe. So for me, there's a huge number of opportunities that could come with tours of significantly interesting places that are nearby to Center City that we don't typically see. And community, in community, you get to participate with communities. And when you do that, you become more relevant. It's just how it works, So anyway, that's it. I'm just very interested in basically tours that don't involve pretty much the bulk of the typical area. So that's just my bent. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I love people that love history. Thank you.
Marc, you want to come up and say a few words? Yeah. Marc's also one of our newer guys. I think August or so he joined, or September.
Okay, I'm not, okay.
So I just had to add for the Zoom people that Mike pointed out, would you say the Unitarian Church's first home? American Unitarian's first home was Carpenter's Hall.
Thanks for inviting me up. I have a hard act to follow, so I hope I don't put you to sleep, but my name is Marc Werlinsky. I'm a fairly new member, became certified last year. My wife kind of pushed me into it. I'm a lifelong Philadelphian, love the city, love the history, love to tell stories. Every time she would see a big bus, she would say, "There you are." So she kind of pushed me into this. My background is I am a lawyer. I was an attorney with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. My job was to keep bad drivers off the road. It's a never-ending job. Yeah. I started as a tour guide at City Hall, did my first tour this past Monday, and I have an intimate familiarity with City Hall because I used to litigate in City Hall courtrooms, and I remember going to City Hall as a kid. The amazing thing about City Hall is if you think you know City Hall, you don't know City Hall. It is the eighth wonder of the world. It's just one of the most fascinating buildings. So I'm a homer. I'm a big Philadelphia booster. I agree that this is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. A Lonely Planet has designated Philadelphia as one of the top 10 cities to visit in 2024. The only other city in the United States to get that honor was Kansas City, and I have no idea where they were coming from there, unless you like good beef. A little bit more of my background. I was educated in Philadelphia, graduate of Temple University. I'm a former Jeopardy contestant. And also tried my hand at stand-up comedy. Hopefully I'll be more successful as a tour guide. So that's me. And I am really pleased to be part of this community. And thank you for asking me to speak.
Bill, do you want to come up and say? Oh, good.
So we're all clear, Nina is leaving.
Would anybody else like to stand up? Oh, here comes Tony. You have a tour for Nina. I don't know what she's talking about. Don't ask. Jim, do you want to come up and say? Anybody else want? We can actually yeah, we can let Zoom go. Maybe people will be more comfortable if they don't have to talk at the mic. But thank you all Zoom people for coming. It was a pleasure having you all here. If you have any more ideas before you go, just put them in the chat for Jen and we'll get them. And yeah, so I'm going to turn the mic off.